So, The Kingsman. I just recently watched it with my dad. So I have a couple thoughts on it. Here we go. So The Kingsman stars Ralph Fiennes. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, and Harris Dickinson. And they are father and son, and they're actually living through the first World War, so World War One, also known as the Great War, and kind of the whole plot line uh, is that Ralph Fiennes, he's kind of a political figure. He's the Duke of something I forgot, but he is has a lot of pull in the UK government. So the plot line basically is about him trying to figure out how to end World War One, how to kind of save a lot more lives. The real conflict of the movie comes from his son wanting to join the army. And yeah, for the first half or the first two acts of the movie, is basically what the conflict is between him and his son, and between his son wanting to join the army, him having traumatic experience. Early on in the movie, in the intro of the movie, he has a very traumatic experience with his wife, and him vowing to protect their son. And he's overly protective of his son. Well, not really overly, but like enough to not give him his blessing to join the army. And yeah, that's kind of that's the conflict in most of the movie. And I thought the movie was actually really good. Not as good as Kingsman One, but I thought it was a really good introduction, or a really good kind of stepping stone movie to introduce people into the Kingsmen and to introduce like the origin story of the Kingsmen. I thought the action sequences were really good. They're very stylized. Nothing as iconic as the church fight scene in the first Kingsman, but again, from this team, from the movie franchise, it's actually really well done. Just because it's very stylized, it's very like there weren't too many jump cuts. Like uh, the fighting scenes were actually pretty clear. I did notice that there was a few more jump cuts than I would like, but you can still tell what's going on. But yeah, still pretty good fight scenes. My only real qualm with the movie is that the pacing did feel a little slow, especially for the first two acts. Like you do have this really good character building sequences in the first two acts, but between the main character and his son, and amongst his servants who are helping him, with the spy stuff. There's a lot of this is really good relationships and chemistry between all of the major players. I thought all of the political maneuvering was interesting, but it kind of got old at a point where that was kind of the main drive of the movie. I know that they're spies and they're supposed to be doing spy stuff, but I miss kind of like the James Bond ish feel to the original Kingsman and Kingsman 2, where it's about cool gadgets, about spies doing cool spy stuff. But this one is more of like the actual boots on the ground, political maneuvering that everybody's doing. And I feel like it did play into like what the Kingsmen are. Like they're an organization separate from king and country, from politics. They're you're fighting for a greater purpose outside of what politicians can do. And I like that, but I felt like they kind of beat that dead horse too much when it comes to the political maneuvering, to the point of it just feeling a little bit slow. Also, another issue that I had with the movie is that the reveal of the villain. The villain was actually in the movie, the main one, was kind of shaded in mystery. Like you don't know who he was. And I was trying to figure out who it was as it went on. But then the reveal of the character, who he actually was, for me didn't really work just because he wasn't far removed from the situation, but like from the movie, they showed him only like a couple times, and they didn't really like hammer home like him as a character outside of being the main villain. Like I didn't really feel like, oh my god, it's a great reveal. It was more of like a, oh, it's that guy from earlier. Not really that intense. So I think another, to leave this off in a good note, because it's actually a good movie. Just the pacing's kind of weird, and the reveal, the mystery behind the villains wasn't done as good as I liked. Another kind of thing I liked about the movie was that uh, it does play into history a little bit. Like even though it's an exaggerated version of history, I'm a big history nerd, and I love kind of like the little innuendos or like the little hints at the actual history of what happened. Like I studied a lot about the Russian Revolution with the Romanovs, Rasputin, and from the trailers you actually saw Rasputin. And he's actually they play a lot into kind of like the deviance of Rasputin, so up to like a playful degree, which I really did enjoy as a history buff. But yeah, honestly, the movie's a good like C plus B minus. It's not like groundbreaking like the first one, but still, if you go and watch it, it's probably gonna be a good movie for you and like let's say your guy friends, or your friends who like movies. I watched it with my dad, and there's this scene with Rasputin and the main character, which got really weird. Like, I got uncomfortable a little bit. I kind of covered my face just because I felt so uncomfortable being in the same room as my dad while watching it. But yeah, it's solid movie. So yeah, did you see the movie? What do you think about it? Comment below. Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.